Well, good afternoon. One or two of you will have noticed that we haven't been keeping the Meet the Artist series so up to date of late. That's because we've been very busy doing other things, but had a little bit of a role of persuading artists to allow us to come to East Lothian. And that's where I am today in the gorgeous studio in the wonderful, one of the most sought after and popular areas of East Lothian at North Berwick, in the studio of none other than Astrid Truk. Hello.
Hello.
This has been a lot of pressure to get you to agree to this, and also Astrid, you're very modest and you'll say, no, it wasn't David. I had such a fight because from 5 years ago when I opened the gallery, I always wanted to show your work. I love it. I love everything about it, and it took me about 4 years, I think, to persuade you to come last year. And I couldn't be more delighted. It's not a competition, but I think eventually we had 3 paintings and another 3 paintings, and we sold everything.
Yes, great.
And I think it's not so much about selling the paintings, but it was just a delight, and we'll talk about that in a second. But we're sitting here today in a lovely late spring day talking to you about your life and about your paintings. So you wouldn't need to be a rocket scientist to realise with a name like Astrid Truk, you didn't start off life in East Lothian.
No, I did not.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about your life?
Yes, so I was born in the Netherlands, in Utrecht, but I grew up in the south of the Netherlands and went to art school in Utrecht, actually. And then in 2003, me and my husband went to Scotland because he had a job offer here. And we completely fell in love with Scotland, so that's why we moved here.
It's really lovely to hear, Astrid, because you'd studied art in Utrecht, and then not long after, I think, if I've got your story correctly, maybe 2005, you went to Leith.
2005, I went to Leith School of Art, yes. And then, so the art school in the Netherlands was very conceptual, and I felt I did not have enough of the painting techniques to express what I wanted to. And I went to Leeds School of Art, and I was taught by Paul Martin, and he was an alchemist. He knew everything about paint, and he said to me, this is the technique that will really suit your work, which was glue and gesso and pigments, and that's how I ended up.
I think so many people, Astrid, and I think you're empathetic to their cause, but we know that a lot of young artists follow these videos, and they love to meet people like yourself who are established and being successful, because as everybody knows, it's not easy being an artist or becoming one. And your medium is really fairly unique in terms of Scottish terms and what you use.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's quite work intense. It's quite a slow process, but I like building up layers, and I like going back into the layers. And this medium really lends itself to that. And it's actually Paul Martin came with that suggestion. So for example,
I'll pick this up actually as we're talking.
Yeah.
This is you. Halfway through, or a bit more than that?
Yeah, halfway through, I would think. And so with this one, I've had layers, but then because of the gesso, is when you make it wet and warm, it becomes really soft again, and you can scrape back, and then you can get all these textures that I really love, and that's why this works for me.
So, without giving, this painting will be coming to the Ballater Gallery with some of the others, and this is what's really exciting. So you will be able to see this, if it hasn't sold, at the gallery completed. So that little bit there, might I suggest that, this outline here, do you know what it's going to be? Is it going to be a flower pot? Is it going to be ceramic?
I think it might be. I think I need to, I think so. I'll paint it there, and if I don't like it there, I might take it away
I
again.
can see it. I can feel the pressure. David's being vulgar again, pushing the artist to define what's going to be there. Because this is the whole thing, with artists at Astrid's level, there's much more. It's all these phrases, they look so simple, but they're not.
No, it's a whole process, and some, you finish quite quickly because you just know what's happening, and others just need to evolve, and they will tell you eventually.
Let's talk about this painting, which is finished. Just talking Astrid again now, because the paintings which we sold, I think, were called Curious Bird, Winter's Day to Coastal Finds, if you remember all these names, and this lovely little painting, Les Citrons du Cap. Tell us, because it's completed and it's gorgeous, and the ceramic, how did that come about?
So I think I grew up going to France a lot in my childhood, and I've also lived in France. After high school, I went there for a year, and so I like to use reference to France and the newspaper and things like that. But I also like to go to French flea markets, French markets. So last year, my friend took me to France, actually, to the place where I always used to go when I was a child.
Where was that, can I ask?
It was called Cap d'Aille. It's near Saint-Jean-Cap-Ferrat.
Gosh, beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful,
part of France.
Yeah, so we went there. We went to spend the day in Nice in a flea market, and I saw this one on the flea market, and I actually wish I'd bought it, but I didn't. But I remembered it, and then I
love these
considered-
stories because, I'm a weirdo. I don't mind saying that. But what gives me the buzz, when I walked, this second or third time I've been in your studio, and Tom's going to take a photograph. We're looking over there. It'll drop in a minute. Astrid's arrangement of pots and jug. It could be a flea market stall.
I know.
It's just fantastic the way you have everything. But I'm curious. I've never asked you this, Astrid, because quite a lot of the people who bought your paintings have bought them for really beautiful kitchens, dining areas. Do you get that?
I get
with the
that.
still
Yeah,
life?
yeah, yeah.
Are you a keen cook?
I am. Yeah, yes, I am, and I think in my family, food was always important. Like my parents both. I love cooking, and it's always been a big thing. So yeah.
And the Ballater Gallery's round the corner from one of the top fish restaurants in Scotland now.
Yeah, I've not been yet, but I'd love to go.
Now, is that a hint? I've asked you
Yes.
before. So you must come up. It's owned by the Fife Arms. It's just fabulous. So let's talk, Astrid, about this painting here. And can you remember its name?
Nature Diary. It's actually in the.
Oh, Nature Diary.
Yeah, it's. I made it because it reminds me of when my children were a bit smaller and we would go down the beach and find treasures. And especially my eldest one has a deep interest in nature and birds, and so we would pick up feathers and shells and look at the seaweed, and then this is just a reference to that.
And talking about the glues and the gestures and the mill ground pigments, has that got all of this?
Yes.
So
Always.
when we started talking about the unfinished, this is how seen. So there are actually quite a number of layers.
Yes, definitely. You can see it here. You'd have to look quite close, but it's painted on boards, and then I build up the layers, and then later on I scrape it back so you can see the board again.
They're so classy. And do you tend to use board rather than canvas?
Yes, because canvas is not strong enough for the glue.
And the viewer won't see them, but we've got other paintings. There's a fabulous painting going to be coming to Ballater of a view of the Bass Rock from North Berwick. Can you remember what that's called?
It's called After the Snow Came.
Oh, and it actually, I remember somebody talking to me about, they've got a painting of yours from 15 years ago, and they mentioned that they felt that one of your favourite colours obviously is blue, and different shades of blue, and they felt it really captured the Scottish coldness and winter. And I think that painting of the Bass Rock has really covered it. So the big painting behind with the lobster, I'll move this down, Tom, can I? Just to see it a bit better from here. We've never had a painting as big as this, and hopefully it's coming to the gallery too in round about the end of April, where these will all be arriving. Tell us a little bit about this one.
So, I just love the sea, this is about the sea. I love lobsters, and the texture of lobsters, and I don't eat lobsters actually.
Oh, I do.
Well, I don't.
Do you not like them?
Well, I do. I love them, but my son works in the lobster hatchery in North Berwick, and he doesn't allow me to eat lobster, which I can live with. Yeah, so it's a reference to the sea and the things that the sea have to offer us.
Yes.
Yeah, and also we need to look after. So, yeah.
It's funny. Do you know what I always think goes with lobster? Chips.
Do you?
Yeah, lobster and a bowl of chips.
No, I think
That'll
like
never
that.
appeal in a true gullet.
No, a lemon mayonnaise, a nice.
It says it all, doesn't it, really? So, Astrid, we've spoken about your fabulous technique, and I really appreciate you sharing with us the secrets of the way you paint, because not that many, I know this for a fact, not many artists have the ability to do what you do. And now you've been painting for around 20 years, really serious, from after Leith, I suppose, when you look at it. How do you see things evolving in terms of your painting in the future?
I just have to see where it will take me. I think I started, when I just moved to Scotland, there was a lot about seascapes and the textures of the walls in Edinburgh and the old buildings, and then we moved back to the Netherlands for a couple of years, and I wasn't near the sea in Edinburgh anymore, and I was looking inward more and thinking about the objects that I surrounded myself with. I've always been a bit of a hoarder. I really like old objects, and so I still have things that used to be my grandfather's apothecary bottles and jugs, and so I started painting those. So I think wherever life's going to take me is...
And your love of flea markets, maybe as the children are getting older, you can spend more time looking around.
Yeah, and travelling, and yeah.
What about, so I think the painting that we're going to be getting, gorgeous one of the Looking to the Bass Rock, will be my first true landscape. Do you see landscapes being more of a thing, or have you always painted landscapes?
I've done landscapes. I think it's been more cityscapes and seascapes. I have got a few landscapes, but not many. I might do. I'll just see.
How you feel when you come into this great studio?
It's like a landscape comes about because I'll be somewhere and I'll see something and I know that that's what I have to paint, but I don't know.
I hate to throw questions at people, but can I ask which artists you love or have inspired your paintings?
I think, when I moved here and I went to Leith School of Art, I for the first time saw the work of the St. Ives School. Ben Nicholson, Alfred Wallace,
Barbara
Hepworth, Terry Frost, and that was my...
Oh, this is so exciting.
My light bulb moment, yeah.
Oh, it was, because, everybody knows I'm no academic in art or authority, but I love these painters.
Yeah.
And Christy MacArthur loves them as well. And I went to Kettle's Yard in Cambridge.
Oh, beautiful, yes.
And
so beautiful.
Oh, well, I totally get that. And it's so nice that... Astrid, thank you for agreeing to meet us in your wonderful studio. And to finish off, I think we're both smiling at the thought of, the St. Ives Group and the Cornwall artists and Ben Nicholson. I think Mary Fedden as well.
Mm-hmm, yes, definitely Mary Fedden.
It's all these artists who've been so successful, including artists where it all looks so natural, it looks so simple, it looks so stylish, but it's very difficult to paint like this, and hopefully we've conveyed that. And thanks for telling your story, Astrid.
Thank you for coming.
Pleasure.